live in high definition. From the area's most experienced news team, this is NBC 29 HD News at 11.
Good evening and thanks for staying up late with us. I'm Spencer Burke. At least 9 people are dead following a warehouse fire in Oakland, California. As family members wait anxiously tonight, there are serious questions about whether the warehouse was being occupied legally. NBC's Chris Pallone has the latest.
Nearly a full day since fire swept through an Oakland, California warehouse which was hosting a dance party, investigators still haven't made much progress in finding victims. They say the roof and part of the second floor collapsed in the inferno.
This is very bad wreckage, very twisted debris in there. It's actually very hard to describe. It's like a maze. There's wires and beams and metal and wood. It's all fallen on top of each other.
Those who escaped the fire say there could have been more than 50 people inside when it broke out. Investigators believe at least 24 are still missing.
We expect the death toll from this event to rise.
People like Daniel Vega have had an excruciating wait for information. He fears his brother is among the victims.
And I called my mom and she was like, hey, and I said, where's my little brother? I said, Mom, where's my little brother?
The warehouse is known as the Oakland Ghost Ship, studio space for artists. Fire investigators say it was cluttered with furniture, wood, and artwork. The only way to the second floor was a staircase made from wood pallets. Bob Muley tried to pull another man out as he escaped, but the fire was too intense.
And there was a lot of stuff in the way. The flames were too much smoke, and I had to let him.
Investigators say the warehouse did not have a sprinkler system and probably didn't have smoke alarms either. Public records show the city opened an investigation last month to determine whether the ghost ship was operating legally. But it appears that investigation came too late for possibly dozens of people. Chris Pallone, NBC News.
Nearly 150 firefighters worked to battle a raging fire in Cambridge, Massachusetts today. Officials say the 10-alarm fire broke out just before 3 p.m. Eastern Time this afternoon in a densely populated neighborhood. They say the flames extended to 11 buildings and several cars, destroying 8 structures. They say one of the buildings collapsed and others suffered partial collapses. No residents were hurt, but officials say 6 first responders suffered minor injuries. No deaths were reported, which the fire chief called a miracle.
This is a miraculous situation that we don't have anymore. This was, this looked like a ball of fire across the street. Looked like something you would see in a war zone when they first showed up.
The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Officials say the proximity of the buildings and high wind gusts caused the fire to spread quickly. They say at least 60 residents have been displaced. The Seminole Trail Volunteer Fire Department in Albemarle County is celebrating 40 years today with an open house for the community. NBC 29's Victoria Rezzolo was at the celebration this afternoon and joins us live in the studio with a look at the new truck. Hey, Victoria.
Hi, Spencer. Well, the crew spoke about how far the fire department has come since 1976 and say they raised a majority of the funds for their current firehouse through weekly bingo games at Woodbrook Elementary. They continued their growth today by welcoming a brand new fire truck into the station.
1, 2, 3.
Firefighters and people from the community pushed the new tower truck, Tower 88, into the Seminole Trail Volunteer Fire Station as part of a housing ceremony.
It felt like I was helping the firefighters push like a ginormous load of good stuff that could help the entire world from fires.
Pushing a new truck into the station is part of a long-standing tradition for fire trucks.
It used to be a logistical thing. You had to push the truck in because the truck had no engine, because it was a water tank basically drawn by horses. So they would push the truck in, so of course it would be ready to go out at a moment's notice.
The new Tower 88 can raise to 100 feet in the air.
It has a lot of new technology on it, whether it's suspension, whether it's some of the safety and protective system. This one doesn't have any airbag systems on it. The new truck is 360 degrees of airbags. So as far as protecting our firefighters, that's going to be, one of the best things about that truck.
Volunteers say the open house is a good opportunity for the public to learn about what firefighters can do for the community.
So we can help in a lot of different scenarios, from everything from car crashes to locked out cars. We also love when people bring their children here. We can show them firefighters when they're all masked up, and it's really important for us that kids especially aren't afraid of firefighters when we go into a fire.
Firefighters say the new truck will make their jobs easier and that they are always looking for volunteers.
More volunteers are always great. We have so many apparatus around here, and we can always use more people to help train and help run different calls and help the community. I mean, we're here to help the community, and it's really important that we have a lot of people to be able to do that.
Firefighters say that the old Tower Truck 88 will go into storage to be used in case of emergency. In the studio, Victoria Rezzolo, NBC 29 News at 10.
Thank you, Victoria. The Craftacular Holiday Market returned to Charlottesville for the 11th year today. At Ixark Park, more than 40 Virginia craft makers were able to showcase their homemade goods. People looking to get some early holiday shopping done got to look at everything from jewelry to pottery and candles. The market is a yearly event to help people find unique homemade gifts for their loved ones or even themselves. On the Crime Watch tonight, Charlottesville police are looking for a man wanted in connection with the stabbing that happened overnight. 40-year-old Keith Lamont Brooks is wanted for malicious wounding. Police say he stabbed a 46-year-old man on St. Charles Avenue, a neighborhood right off the 250 bypass. Police and first responders responded to the area just after 4 this morning. The victim reported a family member stabbed him with a screwdriver. He had a stab wound to the chest and was taken to the hospital. No word on his condition at this time. If you have any information on Brooks's whereabouts, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 434-977-4000. The Charlottesville Police Department is working to learn more about shots that were fired early this morning in Friendship Court. Officers responded to a call around 2:45 this morning about shots fired near the neighborhood. They couldn't see much when they initially arrived on scene, but returned later this morning to canvass it in the daylight. It appears that a vehicle parked at Friendship Court had been shot multiple times in the back. There were no reported injuries, and police have no suspects at this time. A woman is behind bars after investigators say a homeowner fatally shot an intruder in Culpeper. 21-year-old Delonte Jones was found dead near a home on Woodland Church Road Thursday night. The 44-year-old homeowner says he answered a knock at his door and spoke with a woman who asked to come in before Jones pushed his way inside. The homeowner also says Jones assaulted him and was shot during a struggle. An 18-year-old from Orange is being held on charges, including attempted robbery. The Culpeper County Sheriff's Office is looking for 2 others who they said fled the scene. In the event of a disaster, the Thomas Jefferson Medical Reserve Corps wants to make sure people with disabilities will not have to worry about having adaptive care. Today in Charlottesville, volunteers with medical backgrounds came together to learn how to care for those with special needs during a disaster. In the event of an evacuation emergency like flooding, fires, or hurricanes, responders want to make sure everyone can be cared for in a shelter with dignity.
The Americans with Disability Act applies to all state and local governments, and it requires equal access to emergency services and programs.
So say you have a disability or you have limited English proficiency, you are still entitled to the same services that anybody else in the general public would receive in a disaster. So that's a basic civil right.
In the Thomas Jefferson Health District alone, there are 18,000 people who would need special care in an emergency shelter. And one Charlottesville brewery is teaming up with the nonprofit to make sure the homeless stay warm this winter season. Coming up, we'll tell you how many coats Champion Brewery was able to collect in just 5 hours.
And we're mostly cloudy tonight, folks. Not too terribly cold. Seasonable lows 30 to 34. Mostly cloudy skies for your Sunday, and it will be cool. Highs only in the 40s. Some rain coming in at night, and another swath of rain to start the week ahead. We'll track it coming up.
And the Virginia men's basketball team tries to win its 25th game in a row on its home court. We'll have the highlights against West Virginia later in sports.